Browsers versus search engines on the dark web, the confusion that puts your security at risk. Disclaimer. This article is written for people without deep technical background in cybersecurity and dark web navigation. If you're an expert in these topics, you'll find some concepts intentionally simplified for accessibility. Have you ever heard someone say, "I got into the dark web"? You probably thought there's a special app or secret website you can access with just a click. The reality is very different, and this common confusion can cost you dearly if you ever decide to explore this hidden part of the internet. In March 2025, more than 3 million people accessed the dark web daily, and 60% of the content there is illegal. But here's the problem: most people don't understand the difference between the browser that lets you in, like Tor, and the search engines that help you find content once inside, like Ahmia or Torch. Imagine the browser is your armored car and the search engine is your GPS. Confusing them is like thinking your GPS can protect you from a crash. In this article you'll learn exactly what each tool is, why the difference matters, and how to protect yourself if you decide to venture into these digital territories. Why everyone talks about layers when mentioning the dark web. The internet isn't a single block. Think of an iceberg. What you see on the surface is just a fraction of what exists underneath. We have 3 main layers. The surface web is your everyday internet. Google, YouTube, social media, news. If a search engine can find it, it's on the surface web. It represents just 4% of all internet. The deep web is the largest part, around 96% of the internet. This is where your online banking accounts, email, medical records, and university databases live. You don't need special software to get here, you just need the right credentials, like username and password. The dark web is a small portion of the deep web. This is where things get technical. You can't enter with regular Chrome or Firefox. You need specialized software that speaks a different language, a specific communication protocol that hides both your location and the location of the site you're visiting. The confusion starts when people think the dark web is a single place you enter. It's not. It's a complete ecosystem of hidden networks that require different tools for different purposes. What a browser really means in this context. When we talk about browsers for the dark web, we're not talking about Chrome with incognito mode. A browser in this context is the client software that allows you to connect to overlay networks, called darknets. Without this software, you simply can't speak the language of these networks. Tor browser is the most well-known and the standard for security researchers. It uses something called onion routing. Your information travels encrypted through 3 different nodes before reaching its destination. It's like sending a letter inside 3 envelopes. Each stop along the way can only open one envelope, but never sees what's in the center. In 2025, Tor has around 2 million daily users. The United States and Germany lead in number of users, representing more than 68% of global Tor traffic. Why do so many people use it? Not everyone is a criminal. Journalists in countries with censorship use it to communicate safely. Whistleblowers use it to expose sensitive information without revealing their identity. Cybersecurity researchers use it to track threats without exposing their real location. I2P, Invisible Internet Project, works differently. While Tor is optimized for browsing websites, I2P is designed for internal hidden services. It uses garlic routing, which bundles multiple messages together and encrypts them. This makes traffic analysis much harder. It's ideal for encrypted chats and communications that need to be extremely resilient. Freenet is a decentralized peer-to-peer platform. When you use Freenet, you contribute some of your bandwidth and storage. Information is fragmented, distributed, and encrypted among many users. This makes it extremely resistant to censorship because there's no central server they can shut down. Search engines, your map in unknown territory. Once you have the vehicle, browser, you need a map, search engine. On the dark web, there's no Google. There's no centralized automatic index of all sites. Search engines here are attempts by volunteers to organize chaos. Ahmia is probably the safest to start with. It has a strict policy against illegal graphic content and filters dangerous results. It's useful for finding technical forums and legitimate resources without stumbling upon the worst of the dark web. DuckDuckGo.onion is interesting because it doesn't search on the dark web, but allows you to search the regular web with Tor's anonymity. It's like using Google but without Google knowing who you are. Torch is one of the oldest and most massive search engines, but also chaotic. It's useful for demonstrating something important: services on the dark web are volatile. Sites appear and disappear constantly. A link that works today might be dead tomorrow. Haystack is more robust, indexing over 1.5 million pages. It offers advanced versions for professionals who need to do data reconnaissance. The difference that can save you from serious trouble. Here's the most common mistake people make: they think that because they're using Tor browser they're on the dark web and automatically protected. Wrong on both counts. The browser only establishes the encrypted connection. The search engine only shows you what exists. Neither protects you from your own mistakes. The biggest risk isn't in the network, it's in your computer. This is called the endpoint. Imagine you build a super-secret tunnel from your house to a distant place. The tunnel is perfect, no one can see what travels through it. But if you leave your front door open, the tunnel's worthless. Your computer is that door. Common operational errors that nullify your anonymity. Asterisk logging into your Gmail or Facebook account while using Tor. Asterisk downloading files without verifying they don't contain malware. Asterisk using your real name or aliases you use elsewhere. Asterisk not updating the browser, known vulnerabilities can expose you. Additionally, search results can be poisoned. Just because a search engine shows you something doesn't mean it's safe. Phishing, scams, and malware are extremely common. In 2023, 65% of active cybercriminals used dark web data to carry out attacks. What to do if you decide to explore, and how to do it without ruining your life. If you're a security professional, researcher, or just curious, you need to follow strict rules. The standard is passive observation. Look, don't touch. Complete isolation, use virtual machines or amnesic systems like Tails OS. Tails is an operating system that runs from USB and leaves no trace. When you turn it off, everything is automatically deleted. If you accidentally download malware, it doesn't infect your real computer. Minimum privileges: never browse with administrator permissions. Limit active code, JavaScript, plugins that can execute. Many exploits take advantage of these technologies to reveal your real IP. Identity hygiene: create completely new identities. Don't reuse passwords, emails, or aliases. Each dark web session should be a new, disposable identity. Constant skepticism: validate site reputations before clicking. If something asks you for money quickly, if the design looks suspicious, if it pressures you to download something, exit immediately. Legal framework: remember that accessing the dark web isn't illegal in most countries, but what you do there can be. Simply being on certain sites can put you in authorities' crosshairs, even if you didn't do anything. Recap: 3 things you must remember. First, the browser is access, the search engine is discovery. They're not the same. Confusing them is like confusing your car with the road map. Second, anonymity isn't automatic. Tor encrypts your path, but you're still the weakest link. One operational mistake and your identity can be exposed. Third, the dark web isn't magical or inherently dangerous. It's neutral technology. There are journalists investigating corruption, there are whistleblowers exposing crimes, there are researchers tracking threats. There are also criminals. Your security depends on your discipline, not on the network. The first step to browsing safely is understanding what you're using and why. Now that you know the fundamental difference between browsers and search engines, you're a step ahead of 90% of people who talk about the dark web without really understanding it. If you liked this post, follow me and support me. Hashtag cybersecurity, hashtag digital security, hashtag secure browsing, hashtag dark web safety, hashtag VetConsultor.